live!
Okay.
We're live! Hey, we forgot to test the microphone, but hopefully it works. But it seems to be
Test 1, 2.
going. Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
I think we're good.
Great. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. We're happy to have you. Come on in, tune on in. This is episode 8, and look, we've got Michael Sheeran. He's back.
I'm back.
He was gone last week because you were celebrating your
My
wife's birthday.
birthday.
How'd
So-
it go?
Okay, this is my plug, my shameless plug, because whenever you have a good restaurant near where you live, you just got to plug it. So if you're looking for a fantastic date idea or just lunch or dinner with friends, we went to Silo.
Yeah, you were talking about this.
Yeah.
That's out in the Lenexa place.
Yeah, so it's next to I think Canyon Farms is the golf course, and this is the restaurant and their clubhouse there. It's brand new to me, at least. I think they started it sometime last year, but we got an appetizer that was goat cheese, like a goat cheese kind of hors d'oeuvre plate, and they whipped the goat cheese up in Weston, and it was like this light, amazing appetizer. So don't eat it all if we're going there that night. But
disappointing.
it is phenomenal. It was amazing. And then if you have a gigantic sweet tooth, there is a 32-layer chocolate cake that as it comes out, I kid you not, it is this big and it is this square. So they set it down on the table and you immediately ask for a box, because there's no way that you and your wife or you and your buddy, unless there's 3 or 4 of you and you're all like competitive eaters, I don't know a whole lot of people that have finished that. She said there's been one guy that came in, sat at the bar, ordered that as a dessert, and polished the whole thing.
Wow.
off.
Oh my goodness.
And then he leaned back.
He was at the doctor's office the next morning, right?
Yeah. So
Silo is the name of it.
Silo is the name of it.
Great.
But we need to do introductions.
Yeah, we do.
I
Absolutely.
don't think everybody knows who everybody's here.
So hello, hi, and we've got hey Mary, hey, Joe could eat it. All right, very good. Hi Joe.
We'll see.
And so I'm Father Kent O'Connor, pastor here at Good Shepherd, and we've got our new associate pastor coming in July, Deacon Nicholas Ashmore. Say hello there.
Hello there. I'm Deacon Nicholas Ashmore, and I will be the new associate pastor here at Good Shepherd. Starting, I believe, July 3rd is my start date. So
I'd like to, so thanks for tuning in. I'd like to read a reading from the text of Ashmore here.
there we go. See my shame.
Yes,
From
it
the
says-
text of Ashmore.
It says, went wrong direction, be there soon. Thanks be to God. Okay, so, but I read that not to embarrass Deacon Ashmore here.
I need humility.
But just the fact that this is his very first time ever being here. And so much so, he has never been to this building. He hasn't even seen the church yet. So he is brand spanking
He
new.
got out of his car. He was introduced to the choir.
That's right.
And then he's sitting here. So
Right
this
here.
is,
I don't know whose office is this. Is this
This is my office.
This is
Yeah.
your
Okay.
office. Okay.
doesn't know whose microphone. Yeah.
We said, look at the little green dot up there.
And let's begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So welcome.
We're happy to have you, and
We're excited.
We got a good group. Wow, this is a record number here. We got 13 people tuning in.
Look at
Very
that.
good.
Okay.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Glad to have you here. Oh, and plus some
Hi,
here
Mary.
because
Hi,
some of you
Joe.
count as 2,
Oh.
Hi, Don.
and
Hi, all.
Veronica too. And so,
You can
Yeah,
read that?
welcome.
I can't read that.
Yeah, there's a way that we can. Do you know how to do it to the big screen? That makes it a little.
Oh,
bit
yeah.
better,
Let's
at least.
Mhm.
So
I probably need to go see the optometrist at this point. I can't tell.
there you go. That's
we
at least
go.
a little bit
Little
better,
bit
maybe. So, and again, this is supposed to be interactive, so feel free to ask any questions that you might have of any of us, and probably the big topic here is new Deacon Nicholas Ashmore here. So,
Obviously, there's been a wake of wonderful superhero movies, and we had a lot of origin stories. And now
yes.
we want to know your origin
That was a
story.
great little transition there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So,
tell us about yourself.
yeah.
And let me also say, I don't really know Deacon Ashmore much. He came up to me, so this is how I found out about the assignment. He came up to me.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
Saturday morning, we had the deacon ordinations, all those that being transitional deacons, like Deacon Nicholas Ashmore is at the moment. And he came up to me right before the ceremony and said, "Hi, I'm Deacon Nicholas Ashmore. I'll be your new associate. I'm like, oh, great. So there it is. So I found out Saturday morning.
Right. Well, there's a whole process. I got a call from the Archbishop on Wednesday, and he said, you're going to be going to Good Shepherd. And I said, great. And I said, when can I call the pastor? And he said, I'm going to send a letter today. And when it arrives at your place, you can assume that the letter will have arrived at your pastor's place. But the problem is the letter didn't get sent, and it just got handed to me at the ordinations. And so at that point, I was like, I have no idea if he got the letter.
Well, I got it. So,
exactly.
yeah.
Like, he probably needs to know.
I appreciate it. So that's good. So, well, we're happy to have you. And so this is news for all of us. So tell us about yourself and tell us your origin story.
All right. Well, as we were saying, my name is Deacon Nicholas Ashmore. I am the 7th of 9 children. We have 5 older sisters and 3 brothers, 1 older brother, 1 twin brother, whose name is Robert. He's in the Navy. He's currently stationed down in Florida, somewhere, one of the ports there. I'm not sure where. And he is a fire control technician. And if you know what that is, you know more than I. So
very good.
There we are. But he's very good at what he does. My parents both live up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I've got an interesting story. I was actually born in Rochester, New York. When I was 6, I moved to Michigan for a year. When I was 7, I moved to Kansas, Burlington, which is about 60 miles south of Topeka. Lived there until I was 14 and went up to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at that point. Lived there until I was 18. And then when I was 18, I moved back down to the Archdiocese of Kansas City, Kansas, where I studied the last 8 years in seminary.
So you came back to study, you had that connection I read as reading in the Levin with Father Mike Hawken.
Yeah, he was the pastor in Burlington.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So why did you choose? So I don't know if people know this, but when you go into the seminary, you basically either commit to a religious order or you commit to a diocese. And you can really choose wherever you want to go. Most priests will go into their home, where they grew up or whatever. But your story, you're kind of all over the place. So you could have applied in Michigan. You could have applied in Rochester. You could have applied Pennsylvania. So, but you chose here, and we're so glad that you did. Why'd you choose
here? Right.
Yeah.
So I have been wanting to be a priest since I was in 4th grade. I was a very early vocation. That was partially because of really wonderful priest examples that I had in Father Mike Hawken, Father Tim Habercorn, the priest that just really took me under the wings as I was a young boy. And I went to a couple vocations events as a young guy, 8th grade, going into even 9th grade in Kansas. When we moved up to Pennsylvania, first of all, to anybody who knows Pennsylvania and loves Pennsylvania, I love Pittsburgh. It's a great city.
Never been.
It's really beautiful. It's got wonderful mountains, the tri-rivers that come together. Yeah. It's gorgeous, great culture. People love it. But when I went to a vocations events there, I just didn't feel at home.
Huh.
And it wasn't anything that there was something wrong with that area. There was no sense that something was not right. It just didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. And so I took it and I went and prayed over that for several weeks. And as I prayed, the idea of coming back to Kansas just kept coming up in my mind. And so I decided to send an email to the vocation director in Kansas City at that point. I was about 16 or 17.
And who was that at the time?
That would have been Father Mitchell Zimmerman.
Okay.
So I sent him an email, and he responded, I believe, within 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
Which I was very surprised about. Communication with the Pittsburgh Diocese was not nearly as fast. I got an email back from him, and he said, Nicholas, this is wonderful to hear from you. Today, I am at a vocation directors conference, and I'm sitting next to the vocation director for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he just gave me permission to talk to you.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
awesome.
So I took that as a sign from God that I was supposed to pursue.
Did we have to trade like a shortstop and
right
middle and
they actually had to trade
fielder?
Yeah.
What players were traded that year from the Royals,
exactly
from the Royals to the Pirates?
Generally it's not that direction. It goes out from the Pirates.
Touche.
So and that's why I came back to Kansas. Among other things, I have friends down here, family. 2 sisters live in Kansas. One who lives in New Strong, which is right next to Burlington, and one who lives in Garnett.
Okay, so, great. Mm-hmm. Now, is your twin brother going to be able to make it back for the ordination?
He won't be able to.
That's a bummer.
I know, it's a shame. He's working on one of the brand new ships, and apparently it has all kinds of mechanical problems. So he has to be constantly on guard to fix that. So My brother speaks in acronyms. I don't understand half what he says, but he'll be talking and I'll go, yeah, I was working on the AOH the other day and then TF Ford, and you know how that is. I'm like, but I don't.
Yeah. It took me a while to figure out what HVAC was.
Yeah. IDK.
Right.
SMH.
Well, I guess obviously you can see that fire is in you, but I guess my question is what is the thing that you're looking forward to most about finally being a priest?
It's really tough. There is so much that I'm looking forward to. Now that's a cop-out answer, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you beat me to it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'm looking forward to saying the Mass, to praying with the people of God. I'm looking forward to being part of a community, because I've been part of a seminary community, which has been wonderful.
And where did you go to seminary?
I went 4 years.
I think I know this one, but
that's okay for the sake of the people. I went to Conception for 4 years, which is about half an hour north of St. Joseph, Missouri. It's a little Benedictine monastery out in the middle of nowhere. And then I went 4 years at Kendrick College, Seminary College in St. Louis, Missouri. Mm-hmm.
I'm particularly partial to that because Kendrick is my middle name.
Oh, really?
Is it really?
Really?
Yeah.
After Archbishop Kendrick?
Nope. Actually, after
his two uncles, one named Ken and one named Rick.
My grandfather's first name was Kenrick.
Okay.
And it might have been off of Bishop Kenrick.
That is fascinating. He's a fascinating person. We don't have time to talk about him, but at some point.
We'll talk, yeah,
exactly.
But nice pick.
Thank you very much.
So you were there for 8 years, 4 years college, 4 years. So you were on the normal track. Yeah. Leave high school and no time after high school. You went straight high school, college?
No, I graduated from high school, I believe, on a Friday, and I moved down to Kansas on a Monday.
Wow.
Directly Monday after. So
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been in school since kindergarten?
I have, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of those.
And I just graduated from my what grade would it be? 12th grade, 20th grade of school.
Congratulations.
On last Saturday. So it's very exciting.
I'm done with that.
We'll see. You're going to hardly know what to do with yourself in the fall.
I know. That's when it's going to be really weird. Right now, I just feel like I'm going on summer vacation.
Sure. Yeah.
Once August comes around, then I'm not preparing.
Now, we do have a great school here, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to be involved with the kids and everything. Mm-hmm. And I love walking into the classrooms and walking the halls. And so you'll still have that kind of same rhythm, right? And so hopefully you'll get a chance to.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Good.
We have a question we're working on. I forgot the question though.
What was the thing that you were looking forward to the most?
And celebrating Mass, and
I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most, as of this moment, if I can choose that, is actually hearing confessions.
Yep.
Because I try to go to confession weekly. I love the sacrament of confession, and I am just delighted to be able to be on the other side and to reconcile people with their God, because that's what we're there for.
Right.
We're not there for judgment. We're not there for for anything that people think might negative. We're there to bring peace and reconciliation, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Yeah, because I sometimes forget that. For everyone else except for priests, the only confession they've ever heard is their own.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But yes, it is a beautiful sacrament. And, I said when I was first ordained, the two things that people would often ask me, what are your favorite things about being a priest? Mm-hmm. And I would often answer, and it's still fairly true, I think, the things that surprised me the most that I enjoyed were confession and funerals. That were two things. And sometimes people say, oh, sin and death, what kind of weird guy are you? But just the healing and that you see both for reconciliation and for funerals, that there's a really great chance for families to come together. And I always meet with the family, or almost always meet with the family, and it's a chance to get to hear their stories and who was this person and how was Jesus in their life and all those things. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, all these exciting things that you are going to experience for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I lovingly refer to confession as the most successful diet in history.
Interesting.
Because it's an immediate loss of weight.
Yeah, there we go.
Just, whew,
that's good.
I'm done. Whew, I'm like 10 pounds lighter. Yeah.
Very good.
I guess, obviously you had quite a few steps.
If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to type them in, and we'll try to respond to them. So I see that there are several people watching, and if you have any questions you'd like to ask Deacon Ashmore, feel free to do so. So go ahead.
Well, I guess the natural question would be is, have you had any devotions as you're kind of going through the discernment process and the liturgical training to become this, right? Have you found any special devotions
to prayer or saints?
Prayer devotion, saints, you name it.
So as a young boy, and the article on the 11 mentioned this, but I think it's easy to overlook it. As a young boy, when I was in 4th grade, I was going to a little Catholic school in Olpe, Kansas that is now closed.
Which, by the way, connection, this is where Father Daniel is going, is to Olpe.
Exactly. And he's going to love it there because they're a wonderful community.
But no school. But
it's
Olpe, I hear great things about. And the chicken house.
Exactly. And the chicken house. Yeah. It was one of those small communities, little German town. And I believe they changed the population sign every time somebody's born. And I'm not joking, because when I was a kid there, I believe the number was 528. Because I'd come in. It's a wonderful place.
We'll have to ask Father Daniel when he drives in.
What number is
what
he?
Number? What number is he? Exactly. We'll change it for him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, yeah. Right.
Well, they're losing.
You're losing. Yeah. Well,
no. Yeah. Well, he'd still just be that number. But he'd be the top number because somebody's going out and he's coming in.
Exactly. Oh man.
So, any particular devotion?
So I, when I was in 4th grade, I went to a book fair, and I was a voracious reader as a kid, and I still read a great deal. I love reading, and I, of course, was at the fair. So where did I go? I went to the book fair as part of it, and I was rifling through all the books, and I found this one entitled Dominic Savio, a Teenage Saint, and I was like, "What? That can't happen. That's crazy." So I'm looking through it, and I want to read this thing, but I'm 10 years old, and I don't have any money on me whatsoever. And my parents are off doing something responsible, I'm sure. And so I start making a conversation with the lady who's in charge of it. And I, with a saddened face, a little, probably puppy dog look, I'm like, "Oh, I just want this. I would love to read this book, but I have no money." And she looks at me, she goes, "It's okay. You can take it." And I was like, "No way. That's so cool." So I went home and I read it all in one night. And then I read it 2 or 3 times over the next coming weeks. And I would say that was the day that Dominic Savio really adopted me as a young man.
It's a beautiful story.
I really take strong consolation in his guidance for me. So because of Dominic Savio, I also have a devotion to Don Bosco. St. John Bosco didn't run an orphanage, but he ran a group for young boys in Italy, and also was just a beautiful spiritual father. And so I take him as a bit of a model of spiritual fatherhood. And I was able to go to Spain 2 years ago to study Spanish. And since then, I've had a real devotion to Saint Teresa of Avila and John of the Cross, because I was actually able to live at the monastery, El Monasterio de la Encarnacion, which is where she lived for 28 years. Well, yeah, 28 years or so. And I lived at the house of John of the Cross where he lived for 5 years.
That's awesome.
And so I have a great personal connection to
him. How long were you in Spain?
6 weeks.
Okay.
When I arrived, I spoke almost no Spanish. Leaving, I spoke some, but I learned a great deal during that time.
And you will learn a great deal here.
So. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, we have a great, I'm so excited to share Good Shepherd with you, because it's a great community. It's a great parish. We have a great English speaking community. We have a great Spanish speaking community. We sometimes do things together, and it's really beautiful. We've got this Pentecost celebration coming up on Sunday, June 9th, and from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And people from all sign up and represent your culture, and it's a great opportunity to kind of share food and culture and all those things. So I think last year was the first year that they did it, and I'm excited. This is my first year to experience it, so I'm excited. So yeah.
Do we have any questions? I thought I saw something.
I still can't read any
saludos. Gracias, Marcos. Oh, you didn't meet Deacon. That's Deacon Marcos. So we have
Marcos y Deacon Marcos, you said?
And his wife Angela. So hello, welcome. Glad you. And is the sound okay? By the way, we didn't ask that question. We usually do. James, where are you?
What's the word, guys? How's our sound?
Sound okay? Hopefully you can hear us.
They're saying
Great.
we have no idea what you're saying.
Because look great.
What?
Exactly.
Everything is garbled. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
James.
James, you're our hero.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're the most loyal of friends.
There we
Hey,
go.
hello, everybody.
We like those.
Good.
Mhm.
Hey.
Give some thumbs up.
Yeah, great.
Even when your wife shows up, that's good.
Yeah, your wife is here.
Yeah.
Yes, we were just talking about
You'd
your.
think she had heard enough of me at this point.
So yeah, we keep on losing our track there, but that's so yeah, Deacon Marcos. So we have three. Well, we have 2.5 deacons here.
Two and a half deacons. Okay.
So
Am I the half deacon? Or?
No, you're not the
No.
half deacon.
Okay.
The other Deacon Nicholas is
Yeah.
the half.
Oh,
deacon.
okay, okay.
So Deacon Nicholas Moragas is he is actually assigned at Sacred Heart in Shawnee,
Shawnee.
but he is here as our RCA director and does baptismal prep and some more adult faith formation. He was the DRE last year, and he's been helping out a bit with that this year. So there's Deacon Nicholas and there's Deacon Marcos, who we just heard from.
Mm-hmm.
And he's assigned here, as is Deacon Steve Lemons, who's also assigned here. And he's also our business manager, HR guy. So you will be meeting with him day one, probably.
Approximately.
Getting your keys and all those
Mhm.
things. Yeah. So.
Yeah, if you don't meet with them, you don't get keys.
And you don't get paid
Yeah,
either.
just
Yeah,
all of the
exactly.
above,
It's
yeah.
two very important aspects.
It's going to
of
have
this.
some paperwork for you.
I often share, that's one of my favorite things I share sometimes is where'd it go? Where'd my prop go?
Which
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Oh, here it is. Yes.
Props.
So one of the cool things about this place is like this is how many keys you need.
No. That is
This.
beautiful.
It is. It's master keys.
I'm tearing up,
I-
honestly, because I've been at Most Hard to Mary on and off for the last 4 or 5 years. And have you seen the keychain there?
No, but
I lean to one side. Brother Greg calls me Nicholas Eileen Ashmore because it's the worst.
well, I had a huge thing at Our Lady of Unity of keys because 2 locations, right, and everything had different. Every door had a different key,
Right.
And I think I ruined like 5 pairs of pants in my pockets because I have 1 pair of pants. And they're still a pretty good pair of pants, but I have to put my keys up here because they
That's
slide
the one, yeah.
right through.
That's the worst part is the one that's the keys that you have to dodge if you were to get one of those, like, because that thing with coils, you're getting a bruise.
So yeah, 1 key is all connected to everything. One of my favorite things about Good Shepherd, well, there's so many good things about Good Shepherd, but I love it was a really well built building because everything is connected, and he hasn't seen anything again. He just got here.
The campus is impressive, I have to admit. When I drove by it, I was like, look at that.
Drove by it the first time?
Exactly.
His first impression was the most recent impression.
That's right.
Just, yeah.
But it's impressive, and everything is connected, and so the church is connected to the school. The school secretary and the church secretary sit side by side, and so they're always talking with one another, which isn't always the case. So it's a beautiful thing, and just all the offices are here connected. It's just really well designed building and structure. And the church, I think, is just beautiful, and
We have a really solid community too.
it is.
Honestly, the amount of volunteers that the parish has is
wonderful.
just sizable. I wouldn't be surprised if we had one of the highest participation rates as far as volunteer basis out there. But and my wife and I just we joined the parish maybe 5 years ago, and in that time she's now helping with RCIA, and I guess I made an okay impression if he wants to put me on a live stream. So
Yeah, there we
are. But yeah, it's a beautiful place.
I see something there.
Yeah, hold on.
We're gonna have to get this.
So we
project-
know
I can't
what
read
you're
it.
most excited for as a soon-to-be priest. What are you least excited
Oh,
about
boy.
or apprehensive about?
There you
And
go.
That's coming from my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
watch out for her in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah. So, what are you least excited about?
Maybe least excited. I like the most apprehensive. Can I
Okay,
go in
yeah,
that
that's
direction?
fine.
Sure.
Most apprehensive, I would say, is the business side of things. I have no experience on the business side of parochial life. I have helped out at parishes before. We helped out in parish councils and finance councils, but my 3 degrees that I have as of a few days ago are all in theology.
Right.
So my expertise is not that realm, and so I'm a little apprehensive insofar as I really don't know what I'm getting myself into in that.
Sure.
But I'm really excited to learn about it,
Right.
so that I
Yeah.
no longer can need to be apprehensive.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
So
Good answer. Good answer.
the conversation from last week was on transition.
Yes, if you didn't watch last week, we talked a lot about transitions and what it means. And this month, May is a month of transition. You're transitioning from being a deacon to a priest, and a whole new reality is opening up. We had graduation last week, and people are transitioning from 8th grade to high school to college, all these things.
And I think anytime you go through transition, there's a natural apprehension of like, who am I in this new environment? As opposed to saying, I know who I am from my previous environments, and I need to bring that joy and that passion for those things with me. I think this is perfect example would be those transitioning from grade school to high school. Those transitioning there are saying, I know who my friends are, right? I know who my relationships are. And if I'm going to a new school, I'm going to be unsure of myself, or who am I in this new environment? And that's the wrong thing to do. I think it's just, we already like what we see. It's good. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
This is great. So, and I'm a retirement planner by day. So most of my life is business.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's a safe thing to be apprehensive about, but the thing is, every other adult is just on the same page as you are. We're all trying to make it continue.
Tell us about also like hobbies and what do you like to do and spare time, fun time, relax. How do you relax? And I know none of this.
There we are. We're finding out.
Yes.
So
I also heard you like teas.
Teas from whom? Was that Keith?
Nope. This was from a story you had told, actually my wife, a long time ago, that there was a literature and tea society or something like this. There was teachers, educators, that you had a tea group or something.
Okay. Yeah, that is not nearly as erudite as what it sounds.
Okay.
Let's just point that out.
Yeah.
So I had a wonderful teacher in high school, Miss F, we'll call her. And she was really good to me. I took French with her and I did theater with her. And she was my theater director. And during my senior year, I was not particularly studious. I had already basically done what I needed for college. And I had already applied to seminary and been accepted. So I was just kind of riding through a senior year. And so my afternoons are pretty free. I don't think I had class for about 2 hours straight. And so I would go to my French teacher's room, and I would sit there and we would read together different books. And then a few other students, and I would do it too. There were 2 or 3 of us, and we'd have tea with her every afternoon. So we called it tea time with Miss F. So
very nice.
Cool.
So you mentioned theater. So what did you? No, let's see here. Where was high school again?
Mars, Pennsylvania. I'm from Mars.
That's
careful.
We actually from Mars. Women are from Venus. What?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but actually,
for another
Mars,
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll talk on that in theology of the body, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Mars, Pennsylvania, they actually have a set of Martians that they move around to different storefronts, and nobody knows who moves them.
Oh,
And there's a spaceship in the middle of the town, and I believe NASA has a yearly festival there called the Mars. No, not yearly. It would be 2 or 3 years. I don't know. The Mars New Year that they go and they actually go to Mars, Pennsylvania, and celebrate at.
Nice,
quirky little town.
Yes,
but you were asking.
So you did theater in Mars, and what did you do? What kind of shows? So I have a theater background as well.
Yeah, I saw that. My passion was musical theater, though I did also plays on the side.
My last show that I did was Hello Dolly. I got a little memento here. There it is. I just keep it on my shelf to remind me. This is at the new theater restaurant down there, off of Metcalf. So that was my last show that I did.
Okay.
So what are some shows you did? You did musical theater and
anything goes.
Okay.
And
who'd you play in that?
I was just at that point I was all 9th grader, so I was just some random crewmate, I believe. Then I did Guys and Dolls, and it was Benny South Street in that show.
Okay.
He's a supporting lead. No Nanette, I was Jimmy Stewart. No, Jimmy something.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't remember the last name. Great show. Name was Jimmy. I don't remember. And then I did a show. I really didn't like it, but the crowds loved it. It was called Back to the 80s. And it was just an excuse to put a bunch of 80s songs together.
Right.
Those are my 4 musical theater shows I did there. I also did some theater at Conception. I was in Joseph Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
It's one of my favorites.
And another show, which was more like a kid's show. It was oriented towards children, which was How I Became a Pirate.
Okay.
So
is it bad that all three of us were in musicals?
no.
Yeah.
We have a
What
common
did you- I didn't
idiom.
know
then.
you did
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
How did I not know
so-
this about you, Michael?
Well,
Mhm.
you'd never
How dare
ask.
How dare you?
You didn't do anything. So, Michael was a senior in high school when I was first ordained a priest
Okay.
at Bishop Miege. So he graduated from Bishop Miege in 2004.
Mhm.
And he taught me some guitar stuff too. That he taught me how to move up the neck there, playing Amazing Grace.
It's the
But
beauty,
I
the
don't
beauty of
think I knew that
transitional.
you did.
Yeah, so
did you do
I
theater
didn't.
your senior year?
I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't. So I was doing an internship at American Century because I was a business student, and I get a call one day when I'm at this little internship of, "Hey, does your internship get done soon? Because we just had our Professor Plum quit."
Mm.
And so, and one of my buddies said, I know you know how to sing because I hear you playing guitar down the hall. Would you be open to trying out for it?" And I was like, "Do I have to try out?" And they were like, "Well, yeah, we want to make sure you can sing the parts." And so I ended up doing that, and I was Professor Plum, and then the director for the theater department at Rockhurst, because I went to Rockhurst University. The director of the theater department actually called me when he couldn't find a lead for the next play, which was the next musical, which was Working by Saz Turkle, I think is the guy who
Not
wrote
familiar,
it. But
yeah.
no one's ever heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
so
have you?
so I was Mike the Iron Worker, and I had to sing about a sordid relationship that I'd had letting my son down.
Mm.
And then I'd learn the error of my ways through that musical. So if you'd like to learn about Mike the Iron Worker,
You can tell
I was the Mike.
Well, and here's something also funny. I played Professor Plum in high school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
was it a
what are
dinner
the
theater
odds?
sort of thing?
No, it was just a kind of it was like a sketch, like
Yeah.
just sketches and stuff.
So ours was a senior production. And actually, the most interesting thing that happened was we had Father Knurk was the president of Rockhurst University, and I heard, hey, we're getting a new president, and Father Curran. I've never met the guy at this point. I'm doing it's a closed rehearsal, right? And he comes in and he's like, "Wonderful job, Michael." And I'm like, "Who are you?" And it's like dark because the light's right in your face. And the president of the university comes up and he goes, "It was wonderful." And
nice.
Yeah, and I'd met probably Father Knurk maybe 4 or 5 times. He never remembered my name, so it was really kind of refreshing. But yeah. Father Curran, nice work.
You enjoyed doing theater. What do you do also? What are your things?
I love to
doing?
cook.
Oh,
Cooking is one I
am so glad to hear
Cooking
that.
really. Do you like to cook?
No, I'm glad that you're going to be living in the same house.
Exactly. When I was growing up, my mom said that she would never have a son that could not cook for his wife. And so she made all the boys cook at least one meal a week. And I was the only one that plan was successful for. My other 2 brothers can't cook at all. Will's working on it though. So if Will's watching this, you're getting there. So
okay. Come on, Will. You can do it.
We can do it.
We believe in you.
I just grew a passion for when I was a young guy, and whenever I get the opportunity, I love to cook. I'm trying to.
Any favorite specialties?
I don't. I really am a devotee of Julia Child, which I kind of hate saying, but it's true. She's
awesome.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
I know. She has the best recipes. I love her perspective on things. You learn both the whys and hows of the recipe. So the background of why why French bread works because of the water and the wheat they have there, and I think it's fascinating.
What is Nick on PBS, the most interesting storyteller in the history of cooking? What is that guy's name? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
So there's a guy by the name of Nick is this old Italian guy
Tell us.
that's on PBS. He's the most interesting person to listen to cook. And he's like, "Well, I was once a boy in Italy and I'm talking to this guy on the street and he just tells me about how to make this magnificent meatball. And so today I'm going to teach you about this magnificent Spagnole's meatball or whatever." And it's just like, you could listen to this guy talk about anything. Do you have a signature thing that you make?
I love to make a pork chops and a brandy apricot sauce. It's kind of unusual, but it is delicious. You have to work with pork chops well. Get a good pork chop, brine it beforehand. You have tasted nothing better in your life.
Now, do you cook for one, or do you cook for like other people that are living in the same house also?
Any size group that
Okay,
we
great.
need. Don't worry.
Just checking.
We can work on this.
Yeah. So go ahead and you'll just start filling out your dates. We'll send out a little.
I would love to
calendar
cook
and
for
we'll
any of
just
you.
come to your
Oh,
house.
there it is.
Yeah.
You
I
heard
just
it
said
here
it.
first, folks.
Exactly.
I'd love to. We also have a great neighborhood. You haven't seen the rectory yet either, which we just purchased about 2 years ago,
Yeah,
I
give or
think, or
take.
so. We live in the same neighborhood. He lives in the Greystone Estates West.
Is that the name of our neighborhood?
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
There you go. We have a homeowners association and everything. I
Yeah.
went to clean the pool day a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was fun. And so maybe there'll be some opportunities in the neighborhood to get together. And so I don't know.
There's an Oklahoma Joe's grill in the neighborhood that is
Really?
yeah, it's
Okay.
like a big smoker. You can smoke on it.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what I was painting
Interesting.
when you were like, "Hey, Michael," I was like, "Hey, Father."
Oh,
and then
okay.
they were like, "Back to work."
I was so that work day was like 3 weeks ago or something, and I was working on we have a tennis court / pickleball court as well, so I was taking down trees out there.
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe some people from the neighborhood can come by. Hey,
Yeah.
there's a question out here.
Okay.
What Deacon? What will you prefer to be called? Name. T. What is your favorite beer, Deacon?
Ooh, okay.
And then Nick Stellino. Is that the Italian?
Nick Stellino.
There you
He's
go.
So,
Thanks, Ryan.
he's so interesting.
Good job.
If you just want to be entertained listening to someone talk about food, Nick Stellino's your guy.
All right, so we have a couple questions. What do you prefer to be called,
Uh-huh.
and what is your favorite beer?
I actually prefer to be called Deacon Ashmore
Okay.
and Father Ashmore too. And there's a reason for that. Deacon Nicholas is a lot of syllables, and kids trip on that constantly, and people just can't handle that.
And you don't
so they
prefer
try to
Nick.
short
You don't
into
prefer
Nick. And Nick was a no-no in my house growing up.
Okay.
My mom, never wanted me to be called Nick, and so I've just never been called Nick in my life.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking I'm going to start out going with Father Ashmore.
Father Ashmore.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting because that's kind of my same kind of mentality of why I'm not Father O'Connor, because that's so many syllables, and Father Kent is quick and to the point.
And there's just not that many Kents.
There,
Compared to Michael's, I mean,
that's true. But now my real name is Kenneth.
Kenneth.
But, yeah. So when I was growing up, my mom said. So you said Nick was a no-no. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom said, if you're going to have a shortened name, you're going to be Kent, not Ken, and not Kenny.
Kenny. Mm.
Because my mom didn't want me called Ken and Barbie,
Mhm.
and then my middle name is Leonard, and so she didn't want me being Kenny Lenny.
Yeah.
So
that wouldn't be good.
So she said, if you're going to have a nickname, it's going to be Kent. And
Yeah.
so in about, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, I made the switch, and I said, I came to school that year. I said, I'm no longer Kenneth, I am Kent.
Mhm.
So, but so Kent is actually a separate name. It's not actually related to the name Kenneth. It's not
Really?
actually, yeah.
I guess it's Irish, isn't it? Are they both Irish, or
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ken or Kenny would be an actual shortening of Kenneth, and Kent is in a totally different bracket of names. So,
Mhm.
Okay. So
Favorite beer,
yes,
wasn't it?
yeah.
I love Ad Astra Ale from
Oh, do you?
the
Free State?
Brewery.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a wonderful amber ale. It's got a little bit of the hoppiness to it, but not too much to make it so it's unpalatable. Lovely amber color, great to cook with too. So
if you're looking for a welcome to Good Shepherd gift,
Mhm.
you got it.
Exactly.
Yours.
What's mine? I like anything, and most of the Sam Adams things are
Mhm.
usually pretty friendly to me.
Boston lagers are great. That's a great beer.
It is. I'm not a hoppy. I don't like hoppy beers.
Right.
So we have Father Greg Hamas
Mhm.
is the pastor at Most of Your Heart, and he sings Deacon Ashmore's praises, but he likes the hoppies, and we have this constant battle of we do not like the same stuff. So
Mhm.
and Ad Astra,
it is
so
the
ales
Easter
are even a
season.
little bit hoppier.
It's the Easter season,
It's
so
hoppy.
it's a hoppy
Oh,
season.
no. Get him
you know.
out, right? What was it?
Somebody
What was that
lay
Full
me
House
off. You
thing?
see the giant.
What was that Full
you
House
see the
thing?
giant
Cut
come in.
it out.
There you go. We just quoted Full House.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
our
this is
Full House is
quality
going to be
television
great.
here.
What's yours?
They're already finishing each other's sentences. They might be good roommates. Hogarden is my that's my
respectable.
that's my favorite.
I'm sorry.
That is very disrespectful.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
just disaster.
Disrespect. No, it's Hogarden is probably my current favorite beer.
Mhm.
Actually, I tried So this is my more exciting reference.
Who do tell?
Caribou Lou is the name of a rap song by Tech Nine.
Okay.
And Boulevard put out a homage to that being like a really popular rap hit called Boo Lou. And it's about a drink that's Malibu 151 and pineapple juice.
Oh.
And but they made a beer that tastes like pineapple coconut kind of a beer. And it was I'm not one of those people that likes a really sweet really too much, but it was refreshing. It was wildly refreshing.
Okay. So what's the frequency is 88 megabytes or something.
Okay.
I was asked what the frequency was, Kenneth. Yes, the Gast family still goes to dinner other than leftover meat. Yes. Okay. Yes, please. We would love that.
Other than leftover meatloaf. You've heard it here, folks.
Hey, wait a minute. Meatloaf is best leftover, isn't it? Because you give it a day.
I mean, it was delicious. But,
exactly. No.
But Tanya's feeling
don't
a
feel
little
bad about that
embarrassed.
at all.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he's giving you a hard time.
Why are you putting it on the internet if you're embarrassed? Beers. We were talking about beers.
Something else.
Now we
the
are.
holy water. So, yes, there's these comments about the holy water. I guess I have to train you of how to throw holy water.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
He's got a freaking
system.
Yes.
a cannon of holy water.
Yeah.
It's like
do you use a sprig of something, or do
I've
you?
got a tree.
yeah. He uses almost an entire like sapling isn't enough, so you just have to use the whole tree. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that he almost threw out his shoulder.
Oh.
Like he's gonna make sure every person in the church gets holy water sprinkled because nobody wants to be the guy that's like, I faked it.
Well,
Right.
I didn't get hit.
So that's my goal. Yes.
Yeah.
So we do a sprinkling right one time a year. We don't do it throughout the Easter season.
Okay.
One time, Easter Sunday and Easter Vigil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all the masses for Easter, and then my goal is that every single person gets hit.
And the next week he has this really beefy arm. It's just
Well, because for years I was using the what's that called? Aspergillium? Is that what it's called?
Yes, yeah, aspergillum or
Aspergillum. Okay, that thing. See, he's just out of the seminary. He knows all the terms better than I do. They teach him those things. But it really hurt this muscle because
you had tennis elbow by the end of it.
And it's got 4 little holes up top. You can't get any.
No, well, it got a pretty good sprinkle because it was a good size and had a good weight to it. But the problem was it was top heavy. So doing this over and over again. Doing this with my branch was
Well, I love the liturgical symbolism of that too, because that's coming forth from the Old Testament practice when they would take a sprig of I don't know exactly what bush. They take the sprig of the bush and they dip it in the blood of the sacrifice, and then when you would be sprinkled with it, the holiness of the blood would be transferred to you, and your sins would be taken away.
Yep.
And so,
very good.
I think having that sprig is actually beautiful.
And I sometimes bring up if people have a problem with the holy water.
Tree.
That's right.
Tree.
A tree. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about a pine tree right here.
If people have problem with the holy water, I can threaten to throw blood on them the following year and see how that goes.
Don't tempt us.
So yes, so we will try to get them duly trained. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there any other questions?
Any other questions? Do you have any questions for us or anything about? I mean, you probably got 1,000.
Right. What should I know about the Good Shepherd community? Maybe you guys can tell me about this.
Yeah.
You said that we have a beautiful community of.
Our choir is phenomenal. You got to hear a little sampling of it, but really, we produce excellent music. The music ministry here is pretty solid.
So my goal is, and we might already arrive, but I want to have the best music of the entire diocese. So that's one of the gifts. And when we'll go on a little tour after this, and I'll show you around the church. And we have these 3 statues that are in the church there that have been crafted. Here's another thing I love about our church. I'm digressing here, but I think all of the artwork that is in the church is original, and so it's not, we didn't buy stuff. So Daryl Southern did our carving of our crucifix and of our angels there, and they're all playing different instruments, and it's really a testament saying, and they're in a very prominent place. And it's like music is important to us. So what is Good Shepherd? One of the things is music. Now we have a new music director, by the way. In case I haven't announced that too much here, we have a new music director. We've hired him. Well, he's, I guess,
what's his name?
I guess Deacon Steve would technically tell me we haven't hired him because he's not like.
So can we say?
But yeah, his name is Raffaele Cipriano, and he has accepted the
Muy
position.
Italiano.
Muy.
I don't speak any Italian. I'm sorry for the crowd.
Raphael is going to watch this in 3 months.
I know he's gonna be.
How dare you?
Raphael is a great guy. He just finished his doctorate in orchestral conducting last year, I believe, from KU.
Wow.
Great guy, and I think he's going to fit in really well. He's from the Venice area of Italy.
Okay.
And so he's gone this summer and he'll be coming back in August. He's getting married, actually.
Oh.
And
Congratulations if you're watching.
Whenever you're
Nice
watching
work.
this. So, and then he'll be back in August and when the school year really gets going and taking over the choir. So John Roginski built up a beautiful program here and just a spectacular commitment to music. And Diana Shepard is doing a great job in our interim directing. And so music is a major piece of who we are. Outreach is another big part of who we are.
Be sure to tell Deacon Ashmore about Donut Sunday.
Oh, Donut Sunday. Yes. Well, I presume, speaking of the choir, yes. So one day the choir was singing, it was a communion reflection of Dona Nobis Pacem, and it was beautifully done, which I then thoroughly ruined because in the announcements I said, the choir sang this beautiful thing, Dona Nobis Pacem, which roughly translated means donuts bring us peace.
Right.
Please come out to Donut Sunday here.
People don't realize it, but it's an alternate translation.
Yeah.
It's like
loose.
number 7 or 8 down on the list. So.
That dialect.
Google
was lost.
Translate.
Exactly. It's vulgar Latin. We'll just say.
Yeah.
So
It's frowned upon. Sorry again. Sorry,
It's
Italians.
not true. Don't believe us.
So outreach is a big thing for us too. We have a beautiful commitment to reaching out all kinds of people. We have a mission in El Salvador. We have a group going down there, and that's been going, I think, 32 years. You have to correct me on the years if that's not correct, but that got started years ago. So we have a sister parish there in El Salvador, El Buen Pastor, down there in El Salvador. And then we just have a commitment to being a welcoming community. I think we're known for that. We have a commitment to, reaching out to the peripheries, as Pope Francis challenges us to do.
What is that?
No, nothing new. I was just making sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So reaching out to peripheries. So those are some real great things. Our school, again, is legendary. We get all kinds of awards for that.
Wonderful.
And so if you have kids, and Catholic schools aren't for everybody, but I hope at least you've considered the possibility of our school because we have a great school, great staff, so today is the last official day of school. Tomorrow they have mass and carnival. Again, this is my first time experiencing this all because I'm still finishing up my first year. But I do get a little bit sad every year when the kids leave because now I'm just walking the halls and there's nobody around.
Yeah.
I like the summertime too, but it does have just a different timbre when the school isn't here. So
It's quiet.
it is, which is
quiet.
Which is a good thing. And I try to rest a little bit in the summer too. But
We'll have to get you some big speakers for your office here so you can just blast some music down the hallway.
that's right.
The sounds of kids
Yeah.
misbehaving in the hall.
Very good. Well, so any other questions or anything else that you'd like to ask the community? We're coming up at about let's see here. Oh yeah, well the time has flown. Here we are. So we try to do about 35, 40 minutes and we're at 48, it looks like.
Yeah.
So well, thanks everyone for tuning in. This is our biggest crowd ever. You're very popular here, Deacon Ashmore.
He's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal. Now, and we do wish Father Dan well as he goes into his next adventure. He's done great work, and so you're following up with a really great priest here, and I'm sure he'll be able to give you some insights too about what the community is and who we are. And but we're very excited to have you. Now, I will say also, one of my favorite things, I was telling Deacon Ashmore about this earlier, is one of my favorite things. One of the things I always stress to the newly ordained priest is I always say, that'll be you, is take that time that you have off between ordination and when you start your assignment, and don't do anything, and just write your thank you notes. I went and saw my nephews play baseball. I mean, I love being a priest, and I loved being a priest then, but there's this kind of excitement. Oh, I want to do all this thing. I want to hear confessions. I want to do masses. And then some priests might be tempted to say, oh, you've got some time. Why don't you come over and take a mass for me or whatever? And I always tell the newly ordained, don't. Just savor that time and be gone and relax and just get yourself ready. There'll be, because you won't have that opportunity again, and there'll be plenty of time to get in the ministry. Once you get here, we'll have plenty of stuff for you to do. But so I say this because you're not going to see him really, and I've kind of said I want to see him as little as possible.
He told me, June. Don't come around in June. I don't want to see you.
I don't want to see you. I'm excited to have him, but I really want him to take that time and to relax. So if you're wondering, when's that guy going to be here? Well, he'll be here in July. And
I have one question. When is your first mass, and can we come?
Absolutely.
Oh, so, good question. Well,
first of all, ordination.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will be ordained this Saturday. Yes, 3 or 4 days away at 10:30 at Church of the Ascension in Overland Park, and that's about 127th and Antioch, right around there.
Yeah, right around there,
that region. So the church can fit lots of people, which means that we want lots of people there. So come early. There's 6 men being ordained.
6 priests being ordained. That is
largest class since 1965.
1965,
which is incredible. So now please come to that.
Now my class, I think, was the next biggest class, because we had 5 in our class.
Ooh, we beat him. Look at that.
Yeah, that's right. we didn't have
it's not that there's going to be any competition.
No,
right.
So
yeah,
we didn't have all of us ordained at the same time. 3 of us were ordained at the same time, and then 2 were ordained separately. But so 6 being ordained, that's very exciting. And then it's the custom then the next day to have a mass of Thanksgiving or a first mass, and I don't even know where or when yours is.
That'll be at Most Pure Heart of Mary in Topeka.
That's what I was thinking. Probably
at 11:30. And there's going to be lots of people there, and we have lots of space. So if you'd like to come and see my first mass, please do. I'd love to meet you. Come and stop me afterwards when I'm giving blessings and saying hello to people, and tell me that you're one of my new parishioners. I'd love to meet you there.
Yeah. And so I grew up in Topeka, and Most Pure Heart is one of my kind of home parishes that I claim. I went to school for 9 years at Most Pure Heart school. So it's a nice parish, and it'd be a great chance to take a road trip and witness your new associate's pastor very first time to celebrate mass. 11:30, you said?
11:30.
Great.
We've got a beautiful children's choir who's prepared lovely music for it, and there's going to be 3 or 4 celebrating priests. It's going to be truly a celebration. So.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure my mom's a big fan. I don't know if I said this yet, but my mom and my sister are big fans of Deacon Ashmore, and so I was joking that I might not ever see my mom at Good Shepherd again, because they're always going to be avoiding me and trying to find out which mass Father Ashmore is celebrating. So,
well, the good thing is if you're competing for graces, that's a good one to win in humility, right?
That's right. But I am more humble than you are.
I am the most
I accept that.
humble. So we had one more entry. Love to have you come out to the Cub Scout rocket launch on Shawnee Mission Park this Thursday night at 6.
Again, thanks, Terry.
That's
Tanya.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
again, I'm kind of banning him from all activities in the month of June. So
and it's this Thursday. I'm still preparing for ordination.
Yeah, well, you're getting a lot of welcome messages out there. But because we're coming up almost in an hour. Do you want to close us in a prayer?
That'd be great.
Absolutely. So let's pray in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together, this time in which we had the opportunity to discover more about each other, more about the various gifts that we have and the gifts of this community. We ask you to bless me at this time, and also bless the community of Good Shepherd. Grant us the grace of growth at this time. Grant us the grace to be able to discover what you've planned for this time for us. And also allow us to grow more deeply in love of you and love of your Son and love of the Holy Spirit. Grant us to walk more closely with you every single day, and then join you one day forever in heaven. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
And we ask this also through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So let us pray. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Well, thank you very much,
So,
Deacon
good.
Ashmore. Great to have you here, and we'll see you here July 3rd is his first day, right? July 3rd?
July 3rd.
So he might come in for another meeting or something if we need to in sometime in June, but I've asked him to kind of just relax and enjoy his time. And so we'll see him July 3rd and give him a big welcome that first weekend, which will be the 6th and 7th or whatever that is.
Exactly.
When he's there on the weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
End that
God bless
stream.
you.
End it.
End.
End it. End it.
Yes. End.
Did you end it?